Hello and welcome to Earth Trifle. Earlier today we rotivated this little plot here, and it's about 24 square metres. It's for our greenhouse. It's this greenhouse here which is going to be going on that plot, and it's just a typical one of them greenhouses you get that's got a horrible green cover on it that doesn't last 5 minutes. So we've got a new cover for it coming, and we're going to install this greenhouse here. But we don't want a situation where the greenhouse blows away. And to prevent it from happening, you can stake it down with, with posts, what have you, drive them in the ground, hold the thing down, screw into the posts. Or you can use the cover. The traditional way is to use the cover, the plastic cover, and bury it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig the trench to bury the plastic cover. So I'm preparing, I'm getting all prepped up before we actually cover the greenhouse. We'll put the greenhouse into its position, because the greenhouse itself will get in the way when you want to dig the trench. So it makes sense to dig the trenches now. So I'm just going to dig this one long trench here, which is going to run from the corner of the greenhouse over there to the far corner over there, and it's starting to rain. Oh dear. And what you need is, to dig your trench, is a spade. Now you have some choices. You could get yourself a lady's spade, aka it's like a sexist spade, They're narrow for little people. I'm not that big. Anyway, all starting to rain. And the other option you've got is get yourself one of these, if you haven't got one already. This is a trenching spade. This is what we used to use in the building game to lay pipes or cables and what have you. That's what we'd use. For obvious reasons, it's narrow, so you don't have to take so much material out. Now, you could put a line, because it doesn't need to be straight, from one end to the other. You can do it that way. But what I find is if you use an ordinary spade, unlike this, because of the depth here, every time you put the spade in, it hooks up underneath a flipping string. It's a pain in the flipping neck. So I don't do that. I don't bother with that. I just use a piece of wood. So that's what I've got there. Yeah, and a bit of laying about, so that's what I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do is line it up between my two marker posts. I'll put two stakes in the ground, you see. There's one in that corner there, there's one in that corner here. So I'm just going to line them up, design them up. Near as damn it. That's near enough. And that over there. And then start digging the trench. And I'm just going to throw the soil back into the garden area of the growing area of the greenhouse. Oh, there. That's better. Yeah, that's better. So all I'm going to do is literally start digging my trench. Hold my bit of wood down and start digging. Lovely. Don't know how long it's going to take me. Shouldn't take too long. And you just need it deep enough to bury the cover in the edges. So as it comes over the greenhouse, it goes into the trench, and the weight of the soil holds the polytunnel, sorry, not greenhouse, polytunnel, to the ground. So the wind don't blow it away. And you need to go all the way around, apart from where your doors are, because you fall down your trench. You don't want to do that either. Soil's not bad. If you go down about a foot, so 300 mil, that's enough. Just keep digging. Now, just do as much or as little as you possibly can, Don't break your back over it. If you can't do it in one hit, go and make yourself a cup of tea and come out a bit later when it cools down a bit. Maybe it's too warm. The thing is about gardening, especially veggie gardening, as soon as you make it a chore, you won't do it. As soon as you make it, enjoyable or interesting, you'll do it. And when you actually, you start reaping the rewards of everything you've done, whether it be your veggies, your fruit, or your tomatoes, or whatever you're going to be growing in your polytunnel, you'll think, oh, I'm glad I've done that. And remember, this job has only got to be done once. Or at least every time you replace the cover. The cover should last around 10 years, really, at least. They're quite often guaranteed for about 10 years anyway, so you'd expect to get even more than that out of one. I've been reading some polytunnel cover. So I'm going to follow this line all the way along. Now this channel, I want it to be, as per the name, Earth Trifle. The point is though, or my feeling is, we've got to be really careful that all the environmental stuff that's going on at the moment. You've got Extinction Rebellion, you've got Stop Oil and various other groups out there. My feeling is they're going about wrong. I might be wrong. That's my feeling, my point of view. I think as soon as you start telling people what to do with that sort of thing and disrupting people in such a way, all you're doing is at risk of alienating potential people who would like to do something. Because we have to be realistic here. That unless everybody does something, not everything, but something, we're not going to get on top of this climate crisis, global warming and all that. And the other thing is, about growing your own food, well, you save money. Save money, it's good for the environment, less packaging, less transport, logistics and all that. Less of everything, but more good food. You know what you put into it. You know whether or not pesticides are being used. So we need to embrace people to want to make the change. And that's what I want to do with this channel. It's something I've been interested in for some while, because although I understand the reasoning by these pressure groups such as Stop Oil and Extinction Rebellion, for argument's sake, because the situation is urgent and something needs to happen. But we need to bring people on board. If we don't, we're going to lose. Because not everybody, warms to the idea. So, argument's sake, for instance, growing tomatoes. Even people like think, I want to grow tomatoes. And you telling me that I've got to go and grow my own tomatoes, you're just annoying me now. But if we can actually encourage people, say, hang on, here are the benefits. This is why you should be growing tomatoes, because they taste so much better. And some of your peppers, your aubergines, your courgettes, an abundance of food that you can benefit from. They fell over then. That'd be funny. That's not taking long, is it? So yeah, it just makes a bit of a podcast, this one, isn't it? Really, this video. It just makes sense. It just makes sense to grow your food and benefit from it. Your health, for instance. You're not going to be having like neonics and glyphosates and pesticides and herbicides. You know that your food is going to be at a standard which is actually healthy. Now, what's it called? Chlorophyphos. There's a chemical that's used in a certain pesticide that's banned in the EU. Unfortunately, it's finding its way into the EU and into the United Kingdom and probably the United States as well. From food that's been imported, it's a banned chemical, but it's food that's been imported via Ukraine, because of what's going on in Ukraine. There's very little governance going on at the moment, but they've found this chemical in wheat. So it's a worry. That's the same, my feelings regarding solar and wind and what have you, because we've got solar in that here. We're doing the old eco solar panels behind you. You can't see them, I know, but they are there. And the thing about them is, sit there, just doing nothing apart from producing electricity. If we impose it on people instead of, explaining to them the benefits of it, that's the only thing about punishment. Because that's what these governments tend to want to do. They like to punish people instead of rewarding people in making the right choices. Constantly will punish them for making not as good choices. We tax everything, for instance. I think that's missing the point. If you truly want people to make a change in their lives, you have to give them a reason to do it. And it doesn't appear that your face will burn off in a few years' time because of because of global warming and what have you. Yeah, enough for some people. Some people have to be either encouraged into making a change or frightened into it, sadly. But when that's actually possible to scare people into making the difference in their lives, when that's actually, possible to do, because people can see around them all the negativities of global warming, it's too late. Yeah. It's all very well saying to yourself, oh, I wish I did this, oh, I wish we did that. It'd be too late. It's frightening. It is absolutely frightening. And that's why we have to do something. But I still stand by the fact, so I understand why these groups, environmental groups, are actually doing it. I get it, but I think it's a wrong approach. I really do. There are other places we can be hit, because obviously we're, hit the people with the money. Don't hit ordinary people just trying to get work so they can make crust. That's not going to go down too well. I think it's foolhardy, but that's my, it's my point of view. It's not everyone's, obviously, but something needs to happen. There you go. It's one of those things, isn't it? Oh, what am I doing? Throw mug over my rotavator. It's a silly thing to do. I'm over halfway now, so not much longer. It don't take long. I've got to go all the way around, but I'm not going to do it all in one hit, you see. I might do a bit more tomorrow, and I'll do some another day. And then what I'll do is I'll bring the cover, so bring the greenhouse into position. I'll put all my stakes in, my posts in, to hold the greenhouse in position, make sure it doesn't move. Sort out my doorways and stuff. And then I'll get my cover. Well, it's been delivered, but we'll then install the cover. So, but I don't necessarily need to put the cover on now, to be honest. I could wait. I can plant this all up. Just be a frame, basically. With tomatoes and what have you, because the summer season, at the moment, it's going to be too hot this year. It was last year. And what happened is a lot of the tomatoes, well, they really suffered. Now you can see what's going on in Spain at the moment. This is end of April 2023, and the temperatures in Spain yesterday were at 38 degrees. It's very hot for this time of year, and we're already looking at drought. Here in France, for instance, we've got problems with water. The water levels are too low. They really are. Oh well, because we're on well water here. That's too low. So it does concern us a little bit. We have got a spring. That over there, what you see, that mess behind me. There's a drinker over there, which is like an animal drinker, and the concrete thing with the water bottles, put the blue thing over the top, keep the light off it. That's a spring. So actually, it's fed by a spring, which is further uphill. So basically, there's a pipe underground from the spring, and because we're on the side of a hill and it's a lower point, it's constantly filling up into that drinker. But come the summer, midsummer, that's going to hardly run at all. And that's where we get all our water from for the garden. So it's a bit of a worry. We need to look at ways of holding more water back. So we can actually, protect our water supply. Because we don't want to be using the well, which is for the house, in the garden. That'd be a problem. If you start doing that, that would be a problem. Nearly there, not much longer. So it don't take long, does it? But if you had a wider spade, you don't necessarily got to get deep enough. You'd have to double dig it, which is uncomfortable and not as effective. So you see the long tapered blade of that, it's perfect for the job. I don't even know if you can hear me properly. All the way over here. I'm about 5 metres away from the camera. So I'm talking quite loud, so trying to pitch my voice. So got to keep on going, nearly there. Literally about 2 metres to go. So not bad at all. So it doesn't take long. So like I said, that cover will come over the frame, into the ditch, and then we'll backfill the ditch with soil. move the camera a bit closer, I suppose. I could do that, couldn't I? So yeah, it's just I'm not editing this video, just so you know. Well, you will know because you'll see the video. Well, I've just said that, so I didn't really need to say it, did I? So you can see the ditch there. Yeah, we've got a fair amount there done there already, and I've got last metre and a half to do. So it's coming along nicely. Yeah, but metre and a half is all. Maybe just over. So now what I'm going to do now is move my bit of wood. If I can. Right, move that along here. So it might be a bit of a longish video because obviously I'm not going to edit this video, and no, what you see is what you get. I could edit it, but it's a bit of a podcast really, I suppose. Okay. So yeah, for me I just think that we all need to be doing something, but equally we don't want to I don't think it's a very good idea to pressurise people into doing it. We need to encourage them to want to do it, and that's how we'll get everybody on board. And it's all very well us saying, displaying China, look at the emissions they've got, and that's true, they have. That's only because they're producing stuff that we want to buy. So if you don't need it, or you're not sure, don't buy it. As simple as that, really. Oh, I'm getting... Got another bit of ground over, or two more bits of ground over there, got to rotivate. Oh, nice and deep. You get a lot of backfill goes back into the ditch anyway, so you kind of like need to go deep to compensate. Yeah, our solar panels are really quite helpful. You know, we've got to keep our electricity costs down. It's definitely a lot less, our bill's a lot less now than it was, which is good. We've got 2 banks behind you of solar panels, of 8 to 16 panels there, 16, that's actually there's 17 panels, plus we've got 3 more over the back there as well, and they were going into batteries at one point, but we moved away from that system, and now we've got a different inverter, and we do like, oh, it's like a grid tie, but without feeding the grid. Basically, the electricity we produce it, and we use it. We're not producing more than we need, so basically nothing goes into the grid. But it can't anyway, because there's a diode in place, because these little Linksy type electric meters. They don't allow you to feed the grid anyway. So yeah, it keeps the bill down. Definitely worth doing. If you can't do solar electric, if you've got a roof, definitely consider solar hot water. That's a no-brainer, solar hot water. That's dead certain money saver. You know, even in the winter, when it's really cold, our solar panels on the roof for the solar hot water actually increases the temperature of the water, so our boiler doesn't, or the immersion doesn't have to work as hard. So it makes a huge amount of sense. And in the summer, well, it's just free hot water, literally free. Doesn't cost anything apart from the pumps to circulate the water around the solar panels. The hot water solar panels, but other than that, it's free, and I like free. That's what happens when you're a pauper. Now we're doing a rewilding here, but just behind you, I'll show you in a moment, we've got a load of trees that will be going into a couple of fields. There's about 500 trees behind you, they're only little at the moment, double cuttings, 4 varieties of willow. And we've got oak trees over there, sycamores, forsythia, which is more of a shrub than a tree. Yeah, and hazel and all sorts of stuff. But, We're planting about 1,000 trees, you see, on 2 hectares of land here in France. And there's a GoFundMe link down below. If you want to be a part of that, I'll make a sign to go with a tree. And you have your name on it, or memory of a loved one, or something like that. So, or a pet. It becomes your tree. So we're planting like 400 odd trees there. I think there's 430-ish so far. We haven't planted for a couple of weeks actually, to be fair. But we do keep planting. And it's looking good. Well, nearly to the end of my trench. I tell you what, I'm no Irish navvy. I'm sure they do a better job than me. Right, that's pretty much there. And I'll continue this all the way around, but not now. Oh my god, I just put mud down my boot. That's a silly thing to do. Right, that's the trench from one side. I've got to mimic that on the other side. And job's a good one. Yeah, move this up. I just need to get the sword out of my boot. Yeah, that wasn't a very clever thing to do, was it? I've literally got mud in my left boot now. Oh dear! Some of us do have them. And that'd have to be me. Yeah. Well, first trench dug. So I've got on this side, you can't see it, but there's another metre and a half trench there, metre and a half trench on that side, other side of the door opening. Same on the other side, so either side of the door opening. And then there's alongside here where that frame is at the moment. And that will be where the cover goes into. I'll fall over. Where the cover goes into to actually hold the greenhouse down and make the whole thing more secure. So when we install it, you see, what we'll do is we'll install the frame, won't fix it. What we'll do is get the cover over the top, and then we'll lift the frame up and then fix it. Because it'll push and tighten the cover, you see, as you lift the frame up against the cover. Oh, just put my boots up. Anyway, just so you can see. Oh, they're looking trees. That lot. They're all trees there. There's a mixture of willows there. Probably got much of them. And over there, there's a whole load. Oh, you can't see all of them actually. There's a load of trees over there. And we keep propagating. We also have ordered loads of trees, which we have to pick up bit by bit. And you probably saw my solar panels. Yeah, solar electric. And yeah, so it works really well. Definitely worth doing. So anyway, that's us digging the trench. Strange video, I know, but I was jabbering as well. And if you want to watch the channel, don't forget to boop the old like button. Yeah. And also don't forget our GoFundMe as well. If you want to buy a tree, there is that link down below, and we'll plant a tree on either. I'll tell you what, I'll make you go high. Either on that field there, which we've already started, as you can see. You see all the white sticks, they are actually markers. And it goes right down into the valley onto the other side. And then there's a field on the other side of this tree here. And that's all going to be planted up as well. Yeah, so there's a link down below if you'll be a part of that. Oh dear. Well, I think it's time for me to go. Because I'm starting to ache, you know. And I've got an underactive thyroid, so I've got to be careful. I get pains and stuff, you see. But there you go, I'm still doing it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway, please comment down below. Ta-ta. What should I do next? More digging? Probably not. Propagating? Maybe. Ta-ta.